The Eagles had another live OTA session today, open to the media, and we got a lot of really good intel out of it. One Eagles player had a huge day and has all but made the team at this point. Also, two former first-round picks for the Birds getting into tip-top shape and a whole bunch more. We will talk about it all right here on A to Z Philly. Welcome on in. I'm RB. Do us a favor, hit the like button if you enjoy these videos and subscribe to the channel as we continue to break it all down. I think the biggest question coming into today was, will James Bradberry be there? We know that he has not been there, and this would have made a statement if he had showed up today. Obviously did not have to, so keep that in mind. Next week is the mandatory minicamp, but with June 1 coming up, we know he could be designated as a June 1 or a post-June 1 cut, and if, he's not going to be here, most likely he's not going to make it past the next couple days. So today, the secondary was as following: Keely Ringo, Isaiah Rodgers at the starting outside corners, Tyler Hall at nickel, and then Avonte Maddox and Reed Blankenship at the safety. Now, not only did Bradberry not show up, but Slay and CJ Gardner-Johnson were not as well. Again, these are voluntary, but Slay and CJ did show up the other day. Meanwhile, Bradberry did not. So again, all indications pointing towards James Bradberry not being here. It's unfortunate, but sometimes you just don't have enough room on the roster and you're trying to get younger and compete. So that's where the Eagles stand. I also want to give a shout out to a couple other vets, guys that do not have to be here, but have been showing, as it says here, really great leadership. In Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown, both have been here throughout the voluntary portion of the offseason, showing up for their teammates, trying to build that camaraderie. So shout out to Saquon and A.J., two of the best in the NFL. And here's a really cool clip of Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. And boy, how nice is it to finally have a running back that can catch out of the backfield. I know Swift could, but he, after those first couple games, that flash, he kind of died out a bit, and the Eagles did not really utilize him that well. But we know what Saquon is, right? He's not DeAndre Swift. Saquon's an absolute superstar, and he's going to bring a dynamic threat to this offense in a variety of ways. So I'm sure this is not the last time that we will see this, but shout out to Jalen and Saquon for having a really dynamic duo. But I want to talk about the guy that won the day, right? Because we've been talking about this defense, this secondary. Offense is pretty short up, but the defense has a lot of questions. Who's going to make their mark? And I would say if there was a guy that, quote unquote, won the day, it's this guy right here. And it's Isaiah Rodgers. We've been talking about him a lot. And he's coming off a year where he didn't get to play. First off, I like how he always posts a picture of himself after practices. Like, some people may take that as cocky and not being humble, but I take it as, man, he's just, enjoying the moment. He's happy to be here and, just showing off, even if it's a voluntary OTA. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm in my Eagles gear and I'm ready to go. And Isaiah Rodgers had the biggest day here at Eagles OTAs. ESP reporting here, Isaiah Rodgers perfectly jumped a Jalen Hurts pass over the middle and intercepted it, took it back for a touchdown. Obviously, they're just doing, drills, 11 on 11s, but Isaiah Rodgers picked 6 on Jalen Hurts. And, we've talked about him potentially on the outside. Does he get the start over one of the rookies? Does he play the nickel? What happens with Isaiah Rodgers? But I think he is showing that he has a lot left in the tank. And even though, he had a bit of a hiatus, Isaiah Rodgers is coming up and he's ready to play. You know what I mean? There's not many questions about him other than, what happened in the suspension, but he already admitted it. He owned up to it, talked about his mistakes, and I feel like he's ready to fire away. And, they had him ranked as a very high corner for a reason, and he's already displaying some of that here in Eagles practices. Now, Isaiah Rodgers did talk about his 1-year suspension and coming back from it. Like I said, this was open to the media, so they were firing questions. And he says, quote, "The year away took me closer to my love for this game. The league does not need anybody." And that right there is like the cherry on top. That's another reason that I love this guy. Like his mentality. I just talked about him posting the picture, right? And just enjoying the moment. Look at that damn smile on his face. You could tell like he is ready to rock and he's not going to make another mistake like that. And even here in a more extended quote, he says he made a mistake and paid the price, and he doesn't take football for granted now. He feels he is closer with his loved ones, and he really missed being in a locker room with the guys. He also says that he worked on his speed in his hands, and they asked him about his schedule. when he wasn't playing last year, he said, yeah, I kept a normal schedule. I continued to work out, tried to really emulate that NFL schedule just so I could stay in good shape. And he thinks he even got faster now. So shout out to Isaiah Rodgers. If we had to predict the guys before Eagles training camp rising up on the stock chart, Isaiah Rodgers should be one of the top on the list. So shout out to him. Give me your thoughts on Isaiah Rodgers. Now, there were a couple other former first-round picks that are getting into really good shape, displaying some pretty good confidence going into this next year, and we will talk about them. But before we do that, got to give a shout-out to our sponsor of today's show, and that is BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up with the code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlays, live bets, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Now, if I had to bet on one of the Eagles' young players stepping up this year and finally having that career year, I'm going to say it's Jordan Davis. And I think it's been brewing for a bit, and he's had to get into better shape, and that is exactly what he is doing. John Clark here says that Eagles DT Jordan Davis says he's getting into the best shape of his life. He has dropped some weight and is now 350 pounds. He is watching his diet more and cutting out juice. Jordan says he is very active now and is answering the bell because he expects Vic Fangio to increase his workload. That's right, Jordan Davis. Now's your time to step into the spotlight and shine. And even more extension on this about Vic Fangio. He says, quote, there's no bullshit. So that's what really the aura has been around this defense for the last couple weeks. Vic Fangio's coming in. He's not going to play games. You know what I mean? The Eagles last year were going in a lot of different directions, and they didn't really have a lot of certainty on what their game plan was. They know what it is now. You're coming in. You're going to work your tail off. And I think a lot of guys do respect that. We heard Jalen Carter talking about that. We heard Jordan Davis talking about that. These guys are ready to work for Vic Fangio, and I really like it. Another former first-round pick, Eagles linebacker Nolan Smith, says that he gained muscle this offseason and is now up to 245 pounds. Nolan believes this is the year he will turn the corner. He says there is a big learning curve in the NFL, and he is proud of Jordan Davis and the shape he has gotten himself into, former teammate at Georgia. Nolan Smith had a couple nice plays last year, but it was more of just like a beam of light. Right now he's got to continue to get more consistent. And the way to do that is to get into that NFL game shape. And that is what these guys are doing. Now, going back to the opposite side, the offense, right? We've had questions about wide receiver 3, and we got to hear today from some of the Eagles' potential candidates. Paris Campbell here talked a lot today. He talked about his game, his decision to come to Philly, based it a lot on, having that relationship with Nick Sirianni, knowing that he would be a head coach back in Indy. And he says, quote, I'm blessed to be with two of the best receivers in football. I want to be around greatness. That's what he said about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. He says that when he signed with the Eagles, Jalen Hurts was the first to text him. Jalen is a great leader and has an aura around him. And that's really the consensus on what we've heard, the great leadership. And, I just like that from Jalen Hurts, always reaching out, always trying to, establish that chemistry with his guys. And in addition to him, John Ross, who got the call the other day, said, yo, you're back. Here you go. Here's your opportunity to make a team. He says that he was extremely happy and even got to celebrate with his son when he got the news he would get another chance. Shout out to John Ross. He said it was a mistake when he retired, and he is happy to be back. Really a deep threat, right? Speedy guy, set all kinds of records before. Question is, does he have anything left in the tank? Going to be tough not playing for the last couple seasons, but I'm ready to give any guy a chance as well. And here is a little video clip today of John Ross. Nice footwork there. Like I said, the speed doesn't go away, It's just, can he catch the damn ball? Can he be on the field? Can he be durable? So we'll have to wait and see. But overall, a successful OTAs. Again, mandatory minicamp coming up. So Birds are going to get some answers, especially here in the next couple days after June 1st. But give me your thoughts down below. Who has impressed you so far in Eagles OTAs and this offseason? Appreciate everybody tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.